polish freaks, welcome back to another review. Today I'm sharing the new Essie Movin Groovin collection. Yep, another collection from Essie. There's been so many. They just keep coming and coming, but I'm super excited about this one. This one is a Target exclusive collection, so you can only find it there. I did purchase it there, but Essie did send me this collection about a week after I purchased it, and so you know what that means. I'm going to be doing a giveaway. That will be on my Instagram page, and it will be at some point when I'm posting all these swatches on my page there. So make sure you are following me there so you don't miss that, because I think you're going to like these colors. There are some that are quite similar to others that they have in their collection, but there are a few that I think are must-haves. And of course you'll find that information out here as you watch this video, and hopefully these videos are helpful for you in deciding what polishes to spend your money on. There are 6 polishes in this collection. They are all fun, bright creams that will be perfect for spring and summer, and actually one that I'm wearing right now that I think is perfect for this time of year. The one that I'm wearing now is Flair for Fun, and I'll put a link to that and all the other polishes down below. Okay, let's get into the collection. This is Run Wildflower, and it's a beautiful, bright lavender purple shade. These are some of my favorite shades, and Essie has quite a few of them, and we'll look at all those here in a minute. But I did do 3 comparisons for this one just so you could see where it kind of fits in. But this has a beautiful formula. It really goes on so nicely. It's going to be opaque in 2 coats. You might need 3 coats on some of your nails depending on how you apply it, but I really think you're going to get away with 2 coats, and that's pretty much the same for all the polishes in this collection. This one really is just fantastic. So I compared this one to Spring in Your Step, and that's a touch more purple, and it also has that strong pink shimmer in it, but they're very close as far as color goes when you look at them in the bottle, but when I put them on the nail you can see that it is just a touch more purple. And then I really thought it would be almost exact to Olive and June Fierce and Loving, but that one's a little bit more pink, but they are close. And then I thought I'd get asked about Kaleidoscope Eyes, one of my favorite polishes, and that one's quite a bit brighter and more pink. Here's my next set. I compared it to Groom Service, and that one's a touch more purple, and then Bond with Whomever, that one's more pink, and it's a little bit of a softer shade, not so bright. And then I put in Playdate because I wanted you to see that that one's bright like this one, but it does have more purple and it's a touch deeper. Worth the Tassel is also kind of along that line. That one is more purple too, so I just thought I'd just mention that here as well. And then my third set is OPI Lavender to Find Courage, and that one's almost identical to this. So this is pretty close to that OPI shade. And then Lucky Lucky Lavender is more pinkish, and Suit You Swell is more muted and darker and maybe has a touch of berry in it. So I really couldn't find anything that was super exact as this, and I'm always shocked when I can't because it just seems like a color that we've already seen. But as far as the Essie line goes, I really didn't find anything. If there's anything that you want me to compare this to or any of the others, just put it in the comments down below and I'll try to do those comparisons in a reel or something on my Instagram page, because I know you guys find that super helpful. But it is close to that OPI shade Lavender to Find Courage. This one is really beautiful. Along for the Vibe is this next beautiful shade, and this, I mean, look at it in the camera. It's showing up a little bit brighter here, but it's just beautiful. I love these kind of greens, especially as we get into summer. I just think they're so fun, especially with a tan. The formula on this one's really good too. It's going to be opaque in 2 coats. It's just beautiful. The formula is good. There are a few polishes that it did remind me of when I pulled it out, and so I've got a kind of interesting comparison here for you guys because I did think it would be almost exact to some of those, but it's really not. So this one's actually quite unique. I also wanted to say that this one just has a touch of brightness to it, which I feel like does set it apart a little bit from any of those like kind of teal turquoise shades. It's just a little bit more bright and fun. Okay, let's get into those comparisons. So I compared it to First Timer, and I really thought it would be almost exact to this, and when I pulled it out I did discover it's the same color family, but it is a little bit lighter, which made me super happy. And then Bustling Bazaar is a little bit more blue, as you can see there. It's more of a blue teal, and then On the Roadie is more of a true green. And then my second set of comps here is My Dog Sled is a hybrid, and that one's more muted, but it is very close. So you can see here that Along the Vibe does have that touch of brightness to it. And then I really thought it would be almost exact to Orly Vintage, and that one's brighter and lighter. That is a fantastic polish. I haven't talked about that in a while, but as we get into summer, that's a really, really fun one to get. And then I'm on a Sushi Roll, you can see is a little bit different too. I believe that has a little bit more blue, but I don't have anything written in my notes, so you guys can check out the picture there. So this one's definitely unique. It is so awesome. You guys know I like green, and I thought this was going to be my year of blue, but I keep picking out all the greens, although I love this one too. This is a must-have in my opinion if you like green. Next we have Flair for Fun, and like I said, this is the one that I'm wearing on my nails. It's this beautiful blue gray that's slightly muted. Yes, Essie has a lot of these, so we're going to have some comparisons coming up, but the formula on this one is really great too. It's going to build up in 2 coats. It's just really nice for any time of year. It's a little bit more cool toned, and I feel like this is a nice one to wear for any season. Like I could wear this any time of year and be happy. But let's get into those comparisons. So I compared it to Amuse Me, and that one's very close, not quite exactly the same. And then Ripple Reflect, which is a newer release from Essie as well, is brighter and slightly more periwinkle. OPI Grabs the Unicorn by the Horn is not as muted and more blue. And then Truther Flare, I really thought it would be almost exact to this. That one's brighter and a little bit lighter, and that one does have a more sheer formula, so they are different. And then Anchor Down is darker and more of a muted navy, and then Tone Down is more of a muted gray blue, so it has more gray in it. So I did find this one to be different than any polishes that I could find in my collection, but like I said, if you think of any that you think it might be close to, make sure to put it down in the comments, because sometimes I do miss some and you guys catch me. I love that you guys make me think of other polishes to pull out. So this one is really beautiful. I have to say that I really love the cohesiveness of this collection. All the colors just go together, and I love the 70s vibe from it. Then we have Movin and Groovin, and this is the namesake of the collection. And yes, it is another orange. We've had quite a few oranges lately. And I like this one though. This one is pretty kind of in between more true orange, and it maybe just has a little bit of pink in it, but not too much. So it's kind of sitting in the middle, if that makes sense. It makes sense to me, but sometimes what I say doesn't make sense to other people. So anyway, you'll see it as I get those comparisons out. But this one does have a lovely formula. It's going to build up in 2 coats. I did find that I had to do 3 on quite a few nails. So I would say like 3 coats is where you're going to be happy. It does seem to have a little bit of a curly formula, which I kind of like for these oranges just because it makes them a little bit squishy, and so I do kind of like that. But I tend to like the more pink leaning oranges, and we'll talk about those here in the comparisons. So I compared it to Soak Up the Sun, and that one's more pink and has more of an opaque formula, and I love that one. So those are the oranges that I really gravitate towards, are the ones that are a little bit more pink leaning. And then Tangerine Tease is pretty similar color tone, but it's just darker. And then Expressy Bear of Rad News, which is a little bit newer, is also darker. That one's pretty close to Tangerine Tease. So that gives you an idea of how this compares to the other. So it's slightly different. I mean, it's not exactly the same as those 2 that I last mentioned, but it is a fun bright orange. So a lot of the other oranges that Essie has were a little bit more muted, or they were a little bit more coral leaning. So that's the difference in this. But I liked this one. And then we have Love Yourself to Pieces, and this is a beautiful pink coral. These types of coral colors are my favorite to wear in summer. I just always pull them out, and so I do love this one. I wouldn't say that this is unique, but I just love it, and I feel like every time they come out with like a pink leaning coral, like it becomes my new favorite. And so this is probably my new favorite pink leaning coral. It's got a beautiful formula. It builds up in 2 coats. You might need 3 at times, and I do find that with these corals that you do need more coats sometimes. So don't be surprised if you have to do 3 coats with this one. But floating that brush is really going to help with that application though, so I think you can get away with 2 coats. So I compared this to Don't Kid Yourself, and that's from the new winter collection that just came out, and that one's closest. I was kind of surprised they weren't exactly the same. That one's closest, and it's maybe a touch more red coral, but I mean, it's just barely. And then Check In to Check Out is more of an orange coral, and Tarte Deco is a lighter pink. I just wanted you to see the differences there so you could see where it fits in between all of those. And then I compared it to SPXXX, or it's 30. So that one's more orange and it's close. And then Time for a Napa, that one's very close, almost exact. So I know why I love this one, because that is one of my favorite OPI polishes. So hopefully that's helpful in knowing that there is an OPI polish that is close to this, but I really didn't find an Essie that was like exactly the same, which is surprising. And then Live Love Carnival is more of a red corally color, and that is an amazing polish. I kind of had forgotten about that one, so it was kind of fun to pull that one out. Shades like Beachy Keen and Peachside Babe are a little bit lighter. This is more mid-toned. I was trying to pull those out and I was like, oh no, those are all lighter. So hopefully that information is helpful, but like I said, this is my new favorite Essie Coral Pink polish. And then we have Keys to Happiness. This is a beautiful red with just a touch of coral. It's so beautiful. Every time I put these reds on, I'm like, oh, these go on so nicely. Why don't I wear them more? I just don't wear red very often. It is such a beautiful shade though, and I'm always amazed when I apply it just because it's so beautiful. It's bright and fun and perfect for summer, or even this time of year when you just want to have something fun and bright when it's so dark and dreary outside. So this has a beautiful formula too. It's going to be opaque in 2 coats, and it is gorgeous. Okay, so let's talk about polishes that are close to this. Some red comparisons. Yay! Just kidding. Okay, so I compared it to Hiking Hills, and that one's more red, but pretty close. And then Geranium is the closest, but still Keys to Happiness maybe does have just a touch more coral. And then I wanted to put in Sunset Sneak so you guys could see that one's even more coral. And so that shows you where this one fits. And then my second set of comps is Eclair My Love, and that one's more pink. What a beautiful polish. I forgot about that one. That one's so good. Cajun Shrimp, which is a beautiful polish. One of my favorites, is close, but a touch more pink, but they're pretty close. And then I did find the OPI Red Lights Ahead, where one of my favorite OPI polishes is almost exact to this. So that's why I liked this one so much. So hopefully that's helpful. I did feel like in the Essie line, I just pulled out all the reds and corals and pinky corals that I have, and I really didn't find anything exact. I'm sure I'll get asked about a million different colors compared to this one, and I don't have all the reds or all the corals. I probably do have most from Essie, but if you have any that you want me to pull out, let me know. And if they're not very close, I'll just do a comparison on my Instagram stories. And if they are pretty close, I'll probably do a comparison on my reels. So anyway, let me know if there's any that you want to compare it to, but I did find this one to be very pretty. Okay, picking my favorites. You guys, these are all my favorite types of colors to wear in spring and summer, and I think I've discovered that spring and summer are like some of my favorite polishes. I used to think it was fall, but I'm really thinking and finding that I love just summer polishes, because all the ones that I've been picking for my favorites of the entire year have been summery polishes. So this collection is right down my alley. And if you're just starting out in the nail polish collecting phase, this is a good one to have because they just look so beautiful together. It's so fun. I'm so excited to get into warmer weather. Okay, so I'm gonna pick my favorites. I would have to say top 2 would be these 2, just because I find that they are pretty unique. And then I would say these 4 together. So top 2, top 4. So we've got Flair for Fun, Along for the Vibe, and then we have Love Yourself to Pieces and Run Wildflower. So those are my favorites. What are your favorites? Let me know in the comments down below, and hopefully these comparisons are helpful because these are pretty close to other polishes that we've seen before. So let me know if you're going to pick any up. Thanks so much for joining me again. I really appreciate you guys following me and commenting, and we will see you next time. See you, Polish Freaks. Bye.